Hey, cows. Hey, you little heifer. She really is one. Sir. Y'all may hear some joyous sounds in the background because our family is all here swimming. We got a little above ground pool at the Costco, and it's rough whenever it's summertime and you live so far out in the country because going anywhere takes an hour. It's not like you can just pop down to the pool and go swimming for, you know, like a couple hours in the afternoon. Pretty much anything you do is like an all day thing. And you know, the kids, even on a farm, get bored. So we made that investment and it's turning out to be a good one. Look how big Hallie's getting. So big. And Hope's got that full udder. You ready to get milk, Carol? So you may notice out there in that field, there are some other bovine beings out there. And I have an interesting story to tell you. So now that you've got your fences up, Helen goes in here at night, eats her food, and Hallie just stays away from her. Yeah. Which right now, I guess it's not what it will be.
It may be a little different once I don't have to worry about them being out with that other cow.
Bull.
No, it's not the bull that I'm worried about now. They're not in heat anymore. So now I'm worried about that cow that has horns. So yeah. once we call it tip the horns, I'm saying we're in cow stuff. Then I'll be fine because they're not gonna.
I haven't told them about the other cows yet though, so don't elaborate too much.
Okay. Well, there's other mysterious reasons that will change the order of who goes into what pasture paddock. I'm just working it out.
Hope's over here pushing me like a big rude diva. The big rude diva that she is sometimes. She wasn't really pushing me. I should clarify. I don't want to be dramatic. She was standing right behind me.
I mean, she's not against pushing people.
But she's not against pushing people. She's definitely not above that. It's the boy named Sue. Hey, sir. All right, so I've mentioned a couple times on videos about the fact that we were going to be getting some multi-purpose breed of cows. People have asked us, are you going to start raising beef? And we did want to raise beef, but we wanted to get cows that, one, had the genetics to be grass-fed, because we're looking to do something maybe a little more on the sustainable side, that we can eventually raise seed herds. With our like long-term vision of having like a learning center and really like building the community around sustainable food sourcing, the decisions that we're making might be a little bit different than what other homesteaders would want to do. But I do think that this is a valid like business approach for even a homesteader that's going to do a smaller operation. Instead of like getting into raising beef to sell beef, what we really wanted to do was we wanted to get genetics for cows and for pigs, and that's why I've been getting different old spot pigs, is to build like a breeding line that's really solid, because we want to be able to eventually breed and then sell like breeding sets where you can get 3 cows in a bull or 2 heifers in a bull or whatever it ends up being, with the pigs maybe like 2 females male, and that way people can get into breeding on their homestead for their area. And so that's why we're paying attention to like genetics and just getting like a pretty good solid breeding stock in line, so that our future business plan is to be able to sell starter herds and breeding pairs or trios. So at the beginning of this year, our Jeremiah calls him Compost Dad. Phil Burton came, our friend Phil, came from Florida, and he's been teaching us compost. He's very into permaculture, and he had a really good herd of American milking Devons. And he had more. We actually did not purchase all of his that he had. We just purchased the smaller amount because we didn't want to be overwhelmed. But we did get 4 mama cows with their calves on side that were born within the last few months, 2 bull calves which were turning into steers, and 2 heifer calves, as well as a bull. And we made the deal with Phil several months ago and have been like paying towards these cows, knowing that they were coming this summer. And so we've had in our mind that this was like coming down the track. It's one of the reasons why we wanted to go ahead and get the goats off of the pasture, because we knew this was coming. Eventually these cows are going to be running next door on Papa T's land. It's something we're doing in conjunction with them. We have them on our pasture right now where we have fencing, but they are trained to an electric wire, and we are planning on putting them over at Papa T's. When are you kind of hoping? Is that just sort of loose when you're able to get to it?
Well, I've been talking with a couple of fence companies. I'm trying to decide which type of fence I'm going to do, I guess. Okay. Then
let's move over because the wind is hitting this. Okay. Look at all these kitties. We got kitties everywhere. So he's getting the fencing worked out. We knew we could put him out here in this pasture for the time being. The grass is growing like crazy right now. But our hope is with our dairies, which will stay on our pasture, and we're calling them the meat cows. We're raising them for meat, but they're really just...
They're kind of a hybrid.
They're kind of a hybrid. The American Milking Devon is a really solid homestead breed that's very beefy and can be raised for meat, but that can also be milked.
So like I've noticed, like on our bull, he's very filled out, very beefy, very big hooves, but I've also noticed on all the cows, they almost have some Jersey qualities. That sunken inside, kind of showing the ribs at the top.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of seeing like, okay, so like on the female side, they really kind of show some milking qualities.
Well, the cows are more solid than the Jerseys, but if you notice their udders are a lot, I don't know how many like beef cows you've really seen like in milk, but their udders are significantly smaller than the Jerseys, and those are like right in between. They don't really look like a beef udder, but they don't look like a Jersey udder. So they really truly are a multi-purpose breed. And
so I've got an agreement with Helen that I only look at her udder. She's the only udder for me. I'm more of a monogamous udder kind of cow, kind of farmer.
Too far, man. Jeremiah does think Helen is the best cow to ever walk the earth.
She's pretty sweet.
Do you like Hallie as much, being Helen's daughter?
Yeah, honestly, Hallie is like, I think Helen's dream come true. She's like, I want you to build on my ceiling to be your floor. Because like, she'll have the same good personality, but she's even prettier. She's literally the prettiest cow I've ever seen.
You're so cute.
And, you know, I helped clean her off when she was born, so she like imprinted on me and stuff.
Yeah, that's what happened. So, we were able... Composure. I'm rein it in, Sours. Alright, so the American Milking Devons, we had the opportunity to buy this herd from our friend Phil, knowing that they had really good genetics, knowing that they had been a closed herd.
What herd they came from, like a bunch of information.
Like where they came from.
Very similar to how we got into Jerseys.
Right, that they were very healthy, that they have been sustained entirely on grass, which is a really good thing. So we decided back in the winter that we were going to go ahead with this, and then it just kind of came, you know, like it's you always think 6 months from now it's going to be further than it is.
Yeah, I've learned
it's not.
Coach
is in here getting machine milked. Hey Daryl. Oh hey Raph. Where's Gabe? A lot of y'all have been asking about Gabriel and how he's doing. Oh, there he is. Since the goats have been gone, the fact that you know, Gabriel's grown up with the goats. Look, Raph's almost as big as him now. And that was one of our reasons for wanting to have him in with the goats, the alpacas, and the cows, and have them all together. And why we did not try to like separate the goats from the rest, because I wanted him to really feel some responsibility for those other animals. Because I knew we were going to be rehoming the goats, I didn't want him to be like bereft. So, oh, I just looked at myself in this. Y'all, we have shirts open right now. This is one, Bravely Hope and Keep Growing Flowers. And this round, we actually got some 100% cotton shirts. We do all our stuff on pre-order through Be Unlimited, and it is open right now. It's not always open, and I know that kind of is confusing and inconvenient, but by doing pre-orders, we're able to just offer a higher quality product and support a small business. So we got some 100% cotton ones. We had a lot of people request that. These are a blend. Miah, I just hit this electric fence.
You hit it?
Oh yeah, it hurt. It felt like somebody kicked me in the butt.
How did you?
I hit my knee like this. And it seriously felt like I turned around because I thought something just headbutted me in the butt. It's not funny. You're laughing. Yeah, I wasn't paying attention.
Well,
I'm not accustomed.
it's working.
I think you should touch it in solidarity.
No. I have touched it before on accident, and it literally popped my back like it was at a chiropractor.
Yeah, that was different. Like the
net is different.
The net like makes you feel like it's running up your arm.
No, that's a solid wire.
That like hits you.
Yes.
Oh, I hate that. I do not like that.
It's not supposed to feel good.
Oh, look at Raph. We got this sand in to put the round pen together here so Jeremiah can work with the horses, and Raph and Gabe have been rolling around in it, and so they've been completely orange. It rained really hard earlier, and I guess they played out in the rain and cleaned them off some. Look at this. This is like the chillest king of the mountain moment ever. He's like, yeah, I'm king of the mountain.
I defeated Gabe, and now I get to sit on top of the mountain.
Back to what I was saying. Before I got distracted by my shirt, before I got shocked by the electric fence. Gabriel's fine. We anticipated the change, put him around the other animals to give him something to attach to, and he really did not act upset at all once the goats left. Gabriel and Raph both. Raph's still a baby, but like we've been really intentional to handle our guardian dogs so that they are attached to us also, and that's made a lot of difference too, I think. So it came down to time to get our cows. We actually had somebody pick them up and bring them here. They were down in Florida. And you know how sometimes you're planning one thing and you're getting all the details worked out, and you're also planning another thing and you're getting all the details worked out, but you don't really consider how those two things
might cross
because they have not been introduced to one another?
No, it's because we're inexperienced. That's exactly what happens. Any professional cow people, cowboy, anything really. Like
somebody
who's had cattle.
Just has more common sense, maybe.
Oh, no, I wouldn't say that's common sense. Like that's like not the common, let's say common homestead cow
or
sense.
Farm sense.
Yeah. So anyways.
So we knew the cows, the herd was coming. The Devon herd was coming.
That's correct.
We knew that was coming. We were working out the logistics of getting them here. We knew we were going to have to put them in this pasture for the time being, so we're working out the fencing logistics.
This is actually the downfall of a compartmentalized brain, because what I did is I compartmentalized that the cows were coming. Oh, that's done. We got it checked off.
I didn't even really realize it until like 2 days before. Jeremiah was handling it.
I was in another compartment thinking, oh, we need to get this done.
So I mentioned a couple weeks ago that our dairy cows, AI appointment was coming up, artificial insemination. So we're super excited because we know we're going to breed the Jerseys.
Mostly on that factor, we were looking at like, okay, if we do it now and it takes, we get a baby at this time.
Right,
that was our biggest concern.
Those logistics. And our vet's husband is an AI tech. He was able to order sex semen from select sires, and he knows what he's doing. And he had been out to the farm and been syncing the cows' cycles because it raises the chances of the AI taking really significantly. So he'd come out and done that. And as it turned out, the night that the Devon herd got here, the AI tech was coming the next morning, and Hope and Helen were both in raging heat.
Yeah, they're at the peak.
The peak. And he was coming out in the morning to do the artificial insemination with this sex semen from this really great bull to be able to get heifer calves, and we brought a bull onto our farm, which was so dumb.
Yes.
I'm laughing about this. Inevitably, when I share stuff like this, I'll get comments from people calling us irresponsible and like all these different things. And you know what? You're going to make mistakes. You're going to do stupid stuff. You're never going to step out. We're not farmers. Like, we are now, but we were never farmers. I've never been around cows in my life. Like, until going to friends' houses that have cows, since start doing what we're doing now, prior to that, never. I had never milked a cow. I had never handled cows. Honestly, they really scared me. I was fascinated by them, but I grew up in a neighborhood, in a very typical millennial American kid childhood. I do not have any agricultural background, no agricultural experience. And so we've been learning this stuff as we go. And you know, I went back recently and I was looking at some of my own old videos, just like kind of reminiscing on my babies being small and stuff like that. And I was like, you know what? I admire the way that I used to just unapologetically share the stupid stuff we did before I had much of an audience to criticize me. I recognize now that I feel like some like shyness in sharing this stuff with laughter, because I know somebody's gonna call me reckless, and I'm not reckless. I'm just learning how to farm, and I need to be able to tell people that, because it's important that people learn how to farm. It's important that people do things as safely as they know how. Obviously, we're not trying to be reckless, and we do the very best we can, and we try to avoid situations. But this situation was, mind the pun, an utter fiasco. And maybe it will save somebody else some heartache if they ever find themselves in this oddly specific situation. And maybe it'll just give you a laugh, and it'll let you know that, you know what, you don't have to do things perfectly, and you're gonna make mistakes. And hopefully it's redeemed and covered by grace, and that it's okay. Man, my tail is still hurting from getting hit by that electric fence. All right, Miah's coming to pick me up, and we're gonna ride out there to introduce you guys to our new Devons. My chariot.
Don't touch the fence.
Gabriel, you're the goodest boy. Oh, here's the big daddy right here on the edge.
How do you know that's
This little heifer, and then the other little flashy one with a heart on her head is a heifer, and then the two red ones are bulls, which we're gonna steer those. And this is the reason mainly why we have our girls up still, because this girl's got horns. So a lot of these are actually polled, and I think our plan with her is to tip her horns, just because putting her in the same field with dairy cows with their big udders, we just don't want to risk anything happening to them. I mean, obviously all these cows have been together and it hasn't been an issue, but
her bull calf is the
big
one that has horns.
Okay, yeah.
So honestly, ultimately, I think where we're going to end up going with her is probably getting rid of her and selling her out, because
we want to do the polled
polled.
genetics. Yeah. But they're super pretty. They are friendly, but they're not, I mean, they're just not handled the way the Jerseys are. Like, I might be able to walk up to these and pet them. They might let me move them around a little bit, but not a lot. Like, they're grass-fed beef.
On pasture.
On pasture.
Mostly managing themselves.
Mostly managing themselves. That's kind of the goal. Now, you said he's pretty friendly.
He's pretty docile. Like, when he came up to the water, I was able to put my hand on his head, and he didn't. You know what I'm saying? He just thought it was normal.
Which we were told he was docile, so.
That can be a good thing or a bad thing. I'm pretty sure, you know, I've talked with Wes about it extensively, and having a bull that thinks he's kind of a pet is a bad thing.
Yeah, so you don't want to do that a lot.
No, so I'm not planning on coming out here and interacting with him just a whole lot, except to move him when I need to move him. But I do like the fact that he's not the aggressive type that, like right now on an aggressive bull, he's on the other side of the herd. We're over here. If he was a super protective and aggressive bull, he'd be between us and the herd, and then trying to get us to leave.
Right.
And he's not. He's over there, like, eating his grass. So I like that aspect of it, because it means, like, you know.
Well, it's nice for situations like this. Now, we have laid the ground rules, like with our kids. Like, they're not allowed to come in this pasture at all
not until
anymore.
We get this herd of cattle
Which they really didn't come in here before. Just we had cows and stuff in here. But now it's like a hard rule, and anybody who comes over, like, it used to be people would come over and if they wanted to walk through the pasture, it was fine, but not with having a bull in here. It's have to change the way we do that for the time being. But they won't be on this pasture for super long. And that rain sure did green this up.
Everything. And it's like the rain, but we get a good rain and a couple of good days,
of
a
heat.
Day and a half of like heat, and everything's just shooting up. And then we get a couple of days of rain, it seems like. And that's for the past like 14 days. It's been like 2 or 3 on, 2 off, day and a half off.
Good for growing grass. But this is our new endeavor. The night they got here. Roaring heat in the Jerseys. These guys just traveled up from Florida, and we let them out, and Jeremiah they had just stretched that fence down there. And we put that guy in the pen because we were like, okay, well, we'll put him behind a couple of fences to keep him from the jerseys. And at one point we looked out there and he had like the fence, the freshly stretched fence at like a 35-degree angle, like leaning his whole self on it. We're like, well, that's not gonna work. So we ended up going out and like building an impromptu
like hot wire fence,
which
kept him in at night.
And then the next morning he went through the hot wire, went over the fence,
and got back out with his herd.
But he lost interest in the jerseys. So right now, the reason why I got popped by that electric fence is it's got
a single wire aluminum, which means that it has all the conductivity. So like the difference between that and like what we tried to keep him in before is that it was a poly braid, which means it has plastic mixed in. This is just full conductive material.
I got that.
Yes, you felt that right in your gluteus maximus.
Yeah.
Then it's also, I went and got, we have this big S400 Energizer that was like what we used for pigs. Yeah, so I went ahead and set that up. And then I did because as far as like getting a strong charge, it has more to do with your grounding than anything. So I did 3 6-foot fully buried in tandem grounding rods.
Well, that bull literally weighs at least 1,000 pounds more than me. So it probably would just be an irksome feeling to him, but it would keep him. He would have to hang himself up on that electric wire to go through or over the fence to get to the jerseys.
It's most likely enough to turn it.
Yeah.
And honestly, when I got it turned on, I finally got it, because we basically this is how it goes on the homestead sometimes. You have a plan, you have to punt and do something else. So instead of doing what we had planned on doing, we spent 2 days stretching this hot wire across all 11 acres and getting the grounding rods, the Energizer, all that's troubleshooted, set up, etc. Got it turned on, and that's actually with the same time that I was down at the water. I had just turned it on, was filling the waters up, and he came down, and he would get in the trough, but he would not come.
So he knew to stay away from it.
Super close to the fence. He must have already
That must be the wire he was trained to, yeah. And now the jerseys have been AI'd. We obviously don't know if they settled yet. We won't know.
We're just going to say that they did. It took.
You're like, absolutely.
That's what we're speaking life over it. So we don't have to go through another heat cycle.
So yeah, hopefully they took. We were going to stagger them. I don't like that we had to do them at the same time, but we would rather go 2 months dry without the milk than risk them not taking and then it be too hot, because we don't want them calving in the heat. And if they took this cycle, they'll be due in March. And we had considered waiting 2 months, but then we would have one shot because we would not want calving after May. We really don't even really want calving in May. So we decided, well, we'll just do both of them. We'll get our freeze dryer going, and I'll freeze dry a bunch of milk and something to hold us over during that time. But hey guys, did you just realize we were out here? Oh, that's Wes's horse over there running his little filly. Oh, she's gonna go run the cows a little bit. She's so cute. Well, sweet Miah, you can't say you're all hat and no cows. You got your horses, you got your cows, and you need a cowboy hat now.
I do.
So how is it, I mean, I know the answer to this because I personally know how it is, but how is it for your dreams to come true? Cowboy Miah.
It takes a minute to settle in. Like, I know it's true, but like, it's like I don't like feel it yet. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Doesn't feel real, maybe?
Maybe that's it.
I know this because my dreams have come true, much thanks to you. But what happens is that one day you'll be out on your horse with your hat, wrangling your cattle, and it'll hit you, and you'll be like, this is my life. And that's when it's real. It's in the most unassuming moment.
I'll be looking forward to it then. Out on the range, you know what I'm saying?
Bosco, what are you doing, Nosy? Hey, sir. What are you doing? Hey, boss. He's so pretty.
Yeah, he is.
Look at that sky. Ignore the horse butts. Sorry about that. I'm like beautiful sunset and horse butts.
Hey. That is a really pretty sky.
It is.
Does this mean we can justify buying a chuck wagon?
Probably not yet.
Come on, I could take the boys out. We'll go camp out here, pretend like we're out in the...
We don't have that much property. You can still see the porch lights. You don't need to chuck wagon. Maybe someday.
Listen, this is our classroom for when we do get more land and we go out on the range.
Thank you guys for hanging out with us today.
Come on.
We bless you.
We need a chuck wagon.
Until next time.